seen before. But we also are an employer, and we have about 4,000 employees, and we want to protect their health and safety as well. So I want to thank all Pennsylvanians who are responding to this, particularly those on the front lines, and also the folks at Labor and Industry. We saw this coming like everyone else, and we started 3 weeks, a month ago, regular daily meetings with my leadership team, regular contact with our departments, regular contact with the Federal Department of Labor. We have had cabinet calls. I've been on cabinet calls with the governor. We're at least weekly, sometimes more. We have gone basically within a matter of days from a period of low unemployment claims to historic highs, like nothing we've ever seen before. The total claims that have been filed since March 15th are 834,684. We repeat that number. Since March 15th, we have had 834,684 new claims filed. That eclipses anything that we've experienced for a weekly total and maybe even a yearly total. We'd have to do the research. We think that we have those record numbers, obviously, because of a couple things. The governor was early on mitigating as much as he possibly could. It started with Montgomery County, where I live, where folks had to stay at home, and then quickly that spread throughout the Commonwealth, those closures and people working from home. We have been on that. We have our staff has been working diligently to make sure that those who can, that skeleton crew that we do have in buildings, are able to work appropriately, safe social distancing and all the things that we need to follow, but also we get people at home. So we knew that with the closures that were starting, there would be an extended, an increased amount of people that would be filing for unemployment. We know that we have, waived some work requirements and waived some signing requirements, and we've done away with the wait week at the state level. Another reason that we may be seeing higher claims is that unlike some of the other states that have hit this, Pennsylvania does not have any kind of a mandatory sick leave or mandatory family medical leave, as many other large states do. So we are the first place that people can turn to for many of our citizens when they face unemployment issues. We know it's frustrating for people when they have wait times or they have difficulty getting through. But again, we're doing all we can. We are asking you to be patient as much as possible. Use the website and to apply, and we'll hear more about that in a minute. Don't get discouraged. Continue to be patient and continue to apply. We want to help you. We want to help people that are in these difficult situations. We've also had some workers' comp related issues with the COVID-19 virus. We have had about 138 claims as of this morning for workers' comp, and 81 of those claims have been either first responders or healthcare staff. So we are doing what we can for those people as well. I'm very proud of the work we're doing at Labor and Industry. I wish we could do more. Given the resources that we have, the incredible increase in the numbers that we're looking at, I think we're doing all we can for our fellow citizens. As you've heard Dr. Levine and Governor Wolf say, we are in this together. As an agency, we believe that completely, and we want to be as open and transparent as we possibly can with those of you in the media as we go through this. That being said, I want to turn this over to Susan Dickinson, who is the Policy Director for Unemployment Compensation in our Bureau. Thank you. Susan?
Thank you, Jerry. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Dickinson. That's SUSANDICKINSON. And my title is the Director of Unemployment Compensation Benefits Policy. So today what I want to share with you are some of the details about filing unemployment We do have a whole lot of people who are not used to it. They've never filed before, and we're doing our best to educate the public on what it is they need to do. For starters, one of the easy questions that we can answer is based on when to file. You really do need to file the week that you are first unemployed. If you know on Friday, for example, that you're going to be unemployed the next week, then don't open your claim on Friday. It's too early. You have to actually be unemployed first to open your claim. So that's step number one. But once you do actually get to the point of opening your claim, what we are urging everyone to do is to file online at www.uc.pa.gov as much as possible. We do have individuals taking phone calls. So we do have a way for individuals who don't have internet access to reach us, but it is very busy on the phone right now. So the internet is the quickest and the easiest way for someone to file and open a claim with us. We do have a lot of information on our website. It would really help if individuals look around on the website first and read all of the special information that we have out there, especially for different waivers and changes that we've made for this COVID-19 situation. That's all explained on our COVID-19 frequently asked questions page. One of the issues, a lot of people are nervous about applying if they don't know if they're going to be eligible. Our advice to you isn't to spend time trying to reach us first. You should just go ahead and apply, and we will determine your eligibility after you've applied. We do know that there are other programs in the works, signed by the Federal CARES Act on Friday, and our governor signed the agreement on Saturday. So we are putting new federal programs together. Right now, we don't have a lot of the details. We're still waiting for federal guidance on how we are to administer those programs. One of them that a lot of people are asking us about is the pandemic unemployment assistance, and that's what's going to help self-employed individuals. So we are dealing with trying to work out the details and waiting for our federal guidance. So at this time, there's no one who needs to file a claim. We will get the information out as soon as we have it. So one of the things, once you file your initial claim, one of the things that confuses people is how the actual process works. It helps if you think of it like a paycheck. What you're going to do with a paycheck is you're going to work for 2 weeks, and then you fill in your timesheet, and then you receive payment for your work shortly thereafter. Unemployment works the same way. You're going to open your claim with us, but you don't get paid right away. You are then unemployed for 2 weeks. You call or go online is the better way to file your continued claim with us, or a biweekly claim. And what that means is that you're certifying that you have been unemployed for the last 2 weeks. And once you tell us that you have been unemployed for the last 2 weeks, and we go ahead and submit the payment for you, and you get that in a couple days. One of the frequently asked questions we're receiving, especially today, is from individuals who've received debit cards in the mail, which is where a lot of our benefits are paid per debit card, if that's the person's choice. They receive the debit card and there's no money on it, and they're wondering, they think something is wrong. But no, that's exactly the way it should be. You receive the debit card first, and then within the week or the next week, depending on the timing, you're going to certify to us, yes, I was unemployed, and then we make payment to you. So you don't have payments up front. It's done after the fact, just like a paycheck. We also do, because we have historic unemployment happening, so many claims that we could never have imagined, we do have some processing that has to happen. And people, in order for them to file every 2 weeks, they need a PIN. And the PINs may not reach them in time. It shouldn't be an issue. What they have to do is just wait for their PIN, and if their week expires and they have not filed, we're going to open up more weeks for them so that they can file. Normally, people file 2 weeks at a time. They'll be able to file 3 or 4 weeks at a time. We're making sure we take care of anyone who may have missed that window for filing. So at this time, I have nothing further. If we want to turn it back over to our press office, and they can moderate.
Okay. Thank you so much, Susan. We're going to go ahead and open this up right now for questions. Please detail your full name, the outlet that you represent, and your question. I just got one question in. I just need your name and your outlet. Thank you so much. Okay, we have one question from Logan Hollinger, the York Dispatch. His question is, Does the department plan to release county-level data, such as the amount of applications for unemployment benefits? If so, when would that be released? If not, why not?
I can answer that question. That data is not available to us at this time. That's not data that we get together. That comes from the Social Security Administration. And as soon as we have that data, we will certainly provide it to the media. That's not something we have available right now.
I have one more question. Having a lot of difficulty getting claims filed. Many of the residents do not have internet service. Calling is not effective due to volume. What would you advise?
We understand it's frustrating. We know it can be difficult. I would advise patience, persistence, to do whatever they can to, if they can find any access at all. The claims coming through on the internet are, and Susan can speak to this, we have very, very little delay as they're initially processed. But the phones are clearly, we have people that have trouble getting through. We are doing all we can to upgrade the technology that we use to make sure that as many people who are able to work from home are. We're adding more to that all the time. We do have crews in some of our offices that are working as well. So we're doing what we can given the historic numbers that we're looking at. Susan, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I'll just add that for individuals who must file by phone, they certainly can. Actually, our wait times got a little bit better today. So keep trying. We are certainly not going to hold anyone responsible for missing a deadline just because they couldn't reach us. At the time that they do reach us, we will certainly backdate their claim to the first week that they were unemployed.
Okay. Another question in from Anthony DiMaccia from Bucks County Courier-Times. Are furloughed employees eligible to file claims?
Susan, you want to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's some thought that lack of work, laid off, furloughed are all different words, but they're not. They're all the same. So yes, those people can file.
Chelsea Kobler from Fox 43. Heard from people saying they've exhausted their benefits in the last 2 weeks and would like to know what they should do to claim extension benefits. Should they refile, i.e. reopen, or just continue their biweekly claims?
They won't be able to continue their biweekly claims because their regular claim has expired. But we will be putting that program together, reactivating some old programs, getting them ready, and then we will be giving guidance to everybody who's eligible to tell them what it is they need to do.
Michelle Drapick from ABC 27. Are part-time and seasonal workers allowed unemployment benefits?
Yes. Whenever someone works part-time, it all depends on how many hours they worked and if they're working less. Certainly anybody might be eligible. As I said, we don't really predetermine eligibility. We can't really tell anyone if they're eligible ahead of time. They really should just file claims if they are unsure and they're interested.
I have a question from Bill Kibler from Altoona Mirror. What is the typical percentage of normal wages provided by
normal unemployment is designed to be about half. It's not going to be exactly that. And of course, there is a cap in 2020. Our highest weekly benefit amount is $572. So it won't be any more than that.
Emily Provetti from the PA Post. Same question. So I will move on further down. David Kaplan from WTAE. He wanted clarification regarding the PIN when claims are filed.
Yes, so there is a PIN number when they do file their continuing claims throughout the whole claim that they need to submit when they are either online or using our Pennsylvania teleclaim system. So when we are waiting for the claims to really take effect in our system, and then that will generate a PIN, and then we mail out the PIN to them. And that is just slower now because of the volume of claims.
Question from Rick Earl from WPXI in Pittsburgh. When you file online, do you get confirmation back?
Yes, you do receive a confirmation page right at the end saying that your claim was submitted. Yesterday, there was about an hour that our claims filing was done, that was out. So for that hour, if anyone tried to file that hour, they probably weren't able to get in, but they could just go in now. They have all week. When you file, you have from Sunday through Friday to file. So they should go in today and just try to refile, and they can make sure that it was taken.
Have Flora Postero from PennWatch. How many self-employed gig workers are employed in Pennsylvania, and when will they be able to file?
I don't know that we have that number. Susan, do you have that number? How many there are?
I was going to say, no, I don't have the number. We're hoping that we'll have that ready to go in a couple of weeks. Of course, it depends on the federal guidance and how soon we can receive that.
Right. The new federal legislation does cover gig workers, some self-employed, and we, as Susan said, we're waiting for guidance. I know our folks were talking to people at the United States Department of Labor over the weekend to get some clarification, and we are still waiting for the final guidelines from DOL.
We have Rebecca Moss from Spotlight, PA. How many staffers does the department currently need to handle this number of claims?
I don't know. That's a very difficult question to answer, how many we need. I know we were staffed, and I think we need to constantly remind ourselves about this. We were staffed for what was relatively low unemployment numbers for the past year or so. And within a matter of days, that became what it is. We have a lot of our staff working from home. We're adding more to that all the time. To give you an exact number of how many we need, I don't know that I can provide an exact number, but I can tell you that we are adding more all the time that are ready to telework. We're looking at bringing on annuitants and people that that have some background in working with this. So we are looking at all we can to respond to the situation we're in. This is what we want to do. We want to answer. We want to provide people with answers. We want to provide them with the unemployment they're entitled to, and we are doing all we can as fast as we can to get there.
Once again, please list your name and your outlet that you're representing with your question. We have one question in regards to, will the federal government provide dollars with this new passage or an agreement?
There is going to be money. I don't know exactly how much of that is going to come to Pennsylvania. There may be some things that we can and can't do with those dollars. Those are the guidelines that we're waiting for. But that's what we need more than anything from the federal government is financial support to make sure that we continue to respond to our citizens who are unemployed.
Right, and I'll add that we are still waiting for our legal and our federal analysis on it. But, at a quick glance, it does appear that everything that the federal government has enacted will be funded by them.
I have a question in reference to the claims portal. The claims portal crashed today. Please provide us details.
I know, Susan, you may have that. I know it was down, as you mentioned yesterday, for a little bit. It was down today for about an hour. I believe it is back up and running. We have been fortunate that given the volume that we're seeing, that we haven't had too many technology snafus. Susan, anything you want to add to that?
No, I did not receive any details yet about what's happening today. We know it's down, but as to the root cause, I don't know yet.
And again, as soon as we have information, we can let you know.
When can claimants expect their benefits to be received?
So if under normal circumstances, when they file and they file their biweekly claim, because again, remember, there's one point where you open your claim, and then there's the biweekly claims that happen every 2 weeks after that. So at the time you file your biweekly claim, payment is made 2 days later, unless it's Sunday, in which case it's 3 days later because it's a weekend day. So that's, as long as there are no issues on the claim. And right now, with everyone being affected by COVID-19, there aren't a lot of claims out there which have a lot of issues on them, true issues. So when they file for their benefits, they should see that in their either the debit card or their direct deposit bank account in about 2 to 3 days.
Charles Thompson from Penn Live, do you have and can you share breakdowns of claims by industry? I think we addressed that question.
We don't have that information right now. We have our Center for Workforce Information and Analysis that as this, when we have get through this initial rush, they will be looking at that. And again, when we have that information, we will share it.
Cacho again from Bucks County. Those that are waiting results and are quarantined for 2 weeks, some are not paid until their tests are positive. What do they do if they are negative and not allowed to return to work?
As I said before, we can't predetermine eligibility. Now, if work wasn't available to them and they're unemployed, of course, they are welcome to open a claim and then file for their weeks once they've been unemployed for a couple weeks.
You're receiving feedback from individuals saying they have opened up claims before and are being told they need to reopen them again.
Correct. The reopen process that we go through goes through the same like programming feeds. It goes through the same system feeds that regular claims go through. And so the longer delay, as I mentioned earlier, with like getting the PIN numbers into the system, there is a delay waiting for the claims to get into. And then once they're in the system, we manually do have to reopen those. That's something that staff have to take care of. So we're getting to those as quickly as possible. We're using a little bit of automation to try to help us. So we're going through those as quickly as we can. As I did mention before, anyone who doesn't get to file during the week that they're supposed to file, Sunday through Friday, and they become late, they're not really going to be late. We are going to open up more weeks for them so that they don't miss payment.
Watch. If someone applied for unemployment a few weeks ago and was rejected and now their hours have been cut further, what should they do? If they should apply it again, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine.
There you go.
So if it by rejected, I'm guessing, I don't really know for sure, but if it's an issue with their eligibility, so either they didn't have enough wages in their history or maybe they quit their job for not a good reason, something like that. We are actually still going through with referee hearings, and hopefully they have filed an appeal. If they have not filed an appeal, if they feel that they should be eligible for benefits and that the law was interpreted incorrectly, they can file an appeal now, and we still are moving forward with those. It is a slower process than usual, but they do have that recourse if they feel that they've been denied without good reason. And if there are fewer hours now, that was the second part of it, that doesn't make too much of a difference depending on the reason that they were denied. So if they were denied for just cause, then they would just have to appeal and go through that process.
Just asking again for everyone to mute your phones in the background. Charles Thompson again from Penn Live. When do you expect the $600 add-on contained in the federal rescue package? Will it hit PA's benefits, and will that go to all recipients or those newly diagnosed?
We're again working out details with with the federal government, with the Department of Labor, to see what guidelines are going to be available to us, how soon. I can't tell you right now, and I don't know if Susan has any other information when those dollars will be available. They are federal dollars, so we are dependent on when they become available to us from the federal government. Susan, do you have anything else?
Nope, that's perfect. We are waiting for our additional guidance to make sure we know which programs it applies to, which it doesn't apply to, and we'll straighten out all those details and get it figured out.
Okay. We're coming up on the last part of this segment. I'm just going to open it up to the Secretary and Director for any closing remarks.
Thank you. The media has been very good about getting information out to people that are impacted by this. The more we can work together, the better it's going to be for our fellow citizens. We want to respond. We are doing what we can. If there's anything more that you think we can do as far as working with the media, we'd be happy to do that. It's our goal to be as open and transparent as possible with a very fluid, evolving, unprecedented crisis situation that we are facing. So thank you for your understanding and your patience. Thank you to the citizens of Pennsylvania for their understanding and patience as we deal with these numbers. Susan, anything else?
Yes, I just wanted to repeat again that the best way to reach us is by filing an application online. It's also, our website is so full of information right now. I really encourage everyone to go through all the information, look and see what's out there, look and see what the claim process is like. We are receiving so many questions from people who just aren't familiar with unemployment, and they're worried and they want to know how it works. So if you consult the website, you'll definitely get a better idea of it. It is important to remember that it really is just like getting paid for a job. You have to be unemployed for 2 weeks first, and then you get your payments. You don't get the payments up front. You can only get them after you've been unemployed. So I just want to make sure everyone has the correct expectations when it comes to this program and how it works. So if people could just consult our website, there are those people that we know can't reach the website, and we will handle them through the phone as best we can. But everyone else has a great resource out there, and I hope they use it. Thank you.
Okay. We're about to close this out, but if there were any questions that were not addressed, you can please feel free to email our press line, dlipress@pa.gov. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for joining us.